Oh shit! Oh, I look amazing. And welcome to another episode of Tales of a Good to Ninja. Excuse my camera, man. Setting up the camera. Hey, yeah, so we talk about part two of arts. And if you saw the last video, we're talking about the culinary world. If you're not a culinarian, awesome for you. You guys are living the life. Trust me. It's not as glamorous as it seems. So, but it can be. However, today we're going to be talking about arts, fundamentals of arts. Do we need art? Have you asked yourself, do we need art? Tell me, you out there, viewer, what have you done to distress yourself? I'm not talking, if you're 420 friendly, I'm not talking to you. I know how you distress yourself, but I'm talking to those, like myself prior to smoking. And obviously, I take my breaks. What have you done to distress yourself? I'll go first. When I was young, I wrote poems, I wrote music, I wrote stories, played the guitar, played some violin, played some piano. I went all in into everything that involved the arts. And why do I make this video? Because arts is amazing. It's not about trying to become famous, or you can be famous, but it's about a path of the strongest resistance. It's like a koi fish going up the stream. Not a salmon, a koi fish. In Chinese mythology, there's a story, trying to get my thought right. Is a story about how the koi fish go up the stream, and when they reach up the stream, they turn into a dragon. And it blew my mind. It inspired me because that's how the arts is. That's how art is. And I was wondering why we, particularly here in America, started to cut down the funds in arts. Art is a major part of kids growing. It's how kids learn to be who they are supposed to be. Because art is in everything. Art is in the reading, art is in writing, art is in drawing, art is in poetics, art is in everything, on the music, on the dancing, even on soft-spoken words. Art is in everything that we do. Like I explained in the last video, it's on the cooking. Shoot, even a lawyer is an artist, because he has to understand the law, and the law itself is like a beautiful poetry. It's like a beautiful poetry that is written and understand about how the government works. Even a teacher is an artist, because they have to go into the classroom and they have to decorate and show their personality to their students, like on how the room is set up. And when a student walks in, they're not noticing the teacher, they're noticing the classroom. They notice the classroom and they're like, wow, this is my teacher. And just by the essence of the teacher decorating the classroom, a student understands, you know what, this teacher is pretty cool. I can be myself with this teacher. Or it can be, I have to be a little bit more reserved with this teacher. This teacher is more, conservative. I have to be careful on how I approach this teacher. And the classroom is the essence of the teacher. And this is why teachers should get paid 6 figures. However, what I'm trying to say right now is that art is fundamental in the world. We cannot live without art. You know how boring the world is without art? Close yourself in a small room, turn off the light, and see how insane you're gonna go. What do you guys think in the prisons back in the day, and probably but now, confinement? Put him in the box. It's dark in there. And yeah, I mean, you can face your thoughts and your fears because that's what your brain is gonna try to compensate. But if you're strong-willed in the mind and in the heart, your brain starts to become creative. It starts to imagine in a world. It starts to imagining a story. Art is so fundamental because it lets kids explore the untangible world and bring it into a reality. Music is the same. Cooking, I could describe it to be the same. Reading is the same. If it wasn't for authors, they can go into the deepest, darkest place of their mind because the greatest authors were going through the roughest times. And the only way that they could dig deep into their darkest memory to dig out beauty, essence, to bring out light and love, and imagine a story and start creating out of nothing. They're like, I want to create this story. That's how important art is, because it's not the author itself that is thinking of this. It's the fact that the author is witnessing his environment, her environment, the reality of everything. And they're putting it down in a book of, if I could change this reality, this is what I would want it to be. That's an author. And they bring you into the happiest moments that they've had in their reality, and they put it in an explender moment in the book, and they take off from there, and they just keep growing and growing. And there's spots where you're like, wow, this chapter, these last few chapters, these pages are a little bit dark, but it's because it's just how the reality of life is. So art is fundamental. It's necessary. It's not even a choice. It's a given right that kids and adults should know arts. And it's not about painting nice paintings like this. It's not about, being an extraordinaire, grandiose. No. It's about understanding that you also have that talent inside of you. And I know in the Latino community specifically, we don't focus on the arts because we are taught that if we're not working hard, if we're not busting our butt, then we're not doing anything. And I'm not talking about sitting with your beers, smoking your joint. No, that's completely different. That's wasting time if you want to waste your time. But I'm talking about the community of parents, and you guys know what I'm talking about, the community of parents that have told their children, what are you doing? leave that guitar work, because it's like they have to work. And we see it every day, especially in the countries, in Latin American countries. Like the kids have to go to work since they're small kids, and they lacking their fundamental right to the education plus the education of art. And it's not the government's fault. A lot of parents say, oh, well, we didn't educate it. You guys didn't get educated because you guys didn't want to listen to, even, you don't have to go to school to get education. You can go rent books out in the library and teach yourself. I don't like education, but I like reading. I like teaching myself. I like knowing what's going on by reading. And you don't have to read every single day. You don't have to read like how the rich folks read one book a week. You don't have to do that extreme. You can read a book once every 6 months. You can read a book once a month. You can grab a paintbrush and try to draw. You can grab a pencil and try to sketch. Don't let your mentality make you think that your children are wasting time by drawing, by sketching, by writing, by picking up a book. They're not wasting time. My Latino community, especially for you, your children in the Latino community have amazing gifts. But because the hardships of your own parents passed down to you, and you want to pass it down to your children, it's not just. Art is fundamental. And this is not just for the Latino community. If you live anywhere around the world, understand this. Kids excel more when they have arts. Because kids need to be kids. Kids need to have 1-2 hours in school just to be able to free their mind. Not 30 minutes, not 45 minutes in the classroom. 1 to 2, maybe 3 hours, just letting them doodle around in a classroom of art on whatever they want to do. And I will guarantee you, those kids, by 4th, 5th, 7th grade, they will excel faster in any other subject, because they were able to be kids since a kid. And I'm gonna segue into the educational system. This is why the educational system is so messed up, and this is why you as a parent should be involved on telling your government to change the educational system, because they're programming the kids to rush who they are. A kid shouldn't be rushing their life from 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, trying to understand the human world. This is where the parents come in. We should be able to handle that for them. They should be free to be kids, enjoy their kids from toddler years to 7 years old. They should be able to be kids. They shouldn't be out there in the world trying to survive, getting into gangs, not gangs, stealing, not stealing. They should be able to be kids. They should be able to be kids. And art is the most important thing that a kid needs to have in their youth, because it shapes their brain. It shapes who they're supposed to be. Because then it's not about becoming a famous celebrity. It's about being like, you know what? Art triggered me so much that I want to go become a lawyer. Art triggered me this in my brain And now I want to go become the best surgeon in the world. Art triggered me so much that I want to be a writer. Art triggered me so much that now I want to go become a president. Or art triggered me so much that I want to become a musician. Art triggered me that now I want to be something for my community. It is the most fundamental thing that we have as humanity. Because if we didn't, there wouldn't be hieroglyphics in the world. There wouldn't be images in caves in France about hunters painting. And it doesn't even go that deep into why did they paint it on the walls. Just grabbing some clay and boom, you're a warrior. Oh, well, how do I know? How do I distinguish you from a warrior? Oh, hold up. Grab some mud or some paint and I'll put it in your eyes. All right, we're warriors now. You know what? Warriors, we're going to paint our faces. Okay, we're going to paint our faces. We put a handprint on our faces. Okay, that's how we're going to distinguish how the warrior is. Okay, yeah, we have tools, but we're going to put some art in our face so we can distinguish ourselves. Even a warrior has art in them, on them. Because even making a bow and an arrow takes art. Not just engineering, but it takes art. It takes above an average mind to say, I see a tree, I see some flint. What can I do with this? And it's art. It's mistakes, it's errors in the world by humanity playing around with art. It's not just, oh, in this history says that the falling angels and they gave us tools. Could be. But it also can be that the imagination and the creativity of the humanity of the world says something more than that. And it's art. Art has shaped humanity since the beginning of time. I'm going to quote one thing of the Bible. And it says, God created us in his image. But I believe in evolution. And I taught myself, how can I pair the creation of humanity with the evolution? But God is not just a scientist, he's an artist. He's an artist that always wants to paint us perfect. And we're not perfect, but he always wants to paint us perfect. There is beauty in art. There is beauty in understanding that children need art. You take away art from your schools, you take away art from your homes, you take away art from your children, and you guys will slowly stir it up to live in chaos. Because there's no art in chaos. Art brings peace. Art brings peace. Because if humanity doesn't need any substances, okay? If humanity doesn't need substances, for their stress, they need art. Yeah, you can pick vices later on in your life, but art is the key essential part of the soul that the creator gave humanity for it to manage their stress. It's art. But you think you guys like the uncle that sings, or why you guys think you like karaoke? Yeah, you're gonna go pick up drinks because that is your vice. Every humanity has a vice later on in life. But before that, it's art. Life is so stressful. Life, I can't handle. I have to go to college. I have to go to university, and I have to study because I want to get my degree. Because I want to be the educated one that actually studied without just saying I went to this school, but I didn't study at all. So, but I paid for it. No, I was like, I'm stressing out because I have to study because I got to make sure. How do I release this stress? I'm gonna write. Okay, I'm just gonna write. I'm gonna read. Can we read? Okay, I'm gonna play piano. I'm gonna do an instrument, guitar. I'm gonna sketch. How do I distress myself? It's art. It always has been art. Now we're humans and we're gonna pick up things along the way, alcohol, THC, other substances, but it's art. Even sports is art because you have to be artistic. You have to know what you're doing in the field. Basketball is art. If it wasn't art, people would be like, whoa, when they're slam dunking or passing the ball a certain way or doing their drills. Is an art. Football, for you Americans, you call it soccer. For the rest of the world, we call it football. Football is art. The way they move, the skills in the feet. But it's a developed art. And everything, it's a developed art. That it can make you wealthy? Of course it can make you wealthy. Depending on what your heart desires. But art has been the most fundamental thing that humanity has. And it's a right. It's not a choice. It's not that you choose to be having art in your life. It's that you were born with art in your life. Because even the conception of you, they're watching this, listening to this, your art itself. Check ultrasounds. Check videos of what happens when the sperm hits the egg. It lights up. You guys are art. You guys are art. Don't let art get taken away from your children. Don't let the world take away your creativity. Don't let the world numb that little soft spot for art. Because to all the people that are haters out there, you guys are haters not because you cannot do art or you cannot sing. You guys are haters because you care what other people want to say about what you're doing with the art. That's what you guys hate. That's what you guys hate the greatest artists in the world. That's what you guys hate your local friends that are doing their music thing in the world, etc., etc., etc. And it's okay that you guys hate. There's nothing wrong with that. But you guys can do it too. You're not gonna be the greatest at it in the beginning, but it's not about being the greatest unless you want it to be. But it's about discovering something inside of your soul, inside of yourself that you always had inside. That's art. It's not about, you know what, I'm gonna make this book because I want to be rich and famous. If you're already thinking that, then you're already lost. It's about putting your art out there. Not because you want to be rich and famous, but because you just want your art to be last forever, for your family, for your daughter, for your son. Art is the most beautiful thing that makes life beautiful. Don't ever let anybody rob you of your creativity, of your art. Even the janitor is an artist, because you don't know what he does in his spare time. Have a wonderful day. Make sure you share them too. Make sure you like them and comment. And if you want to donate, my Cash App is on my information on the bio. If I like his videos, it's to help me grow. It's to help the channel grow. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful day. Until next time. I got you. Oh shit. Oh, I look amazing.